it feels everywhere you look today there was drama, Spain getting involved in the action as well, Real Madrid coming from behind to beat Real Betis by 3-2. Watching that match for us, Ali Moreno. Old VAR is there, Ali, to come in and get involved in this one. Quite two big talking points, really. The first one, the sending off. Are you happy with that?
It's a nudge. I'm guessing you can say it's a foul, but it is a contact sport. It feels like maybe a nudge at full speed then causes Jovic to go down and get off balance. So I can see it once you go into VAR and see the replay where the referee says, you know what, there's enough there. But man, on the live shot, on live television, when you're watching it, it didn't feel like much of anything.
And then what about the penalty? Suggestions that, yes, it was a handball, but it was a foul that led to the handball.
Yeah, and that's the part that when I'm watching, is the first thing that jumped to my mind was, wait a minute, Marc Bartra, he is shielding the ball, and it's Borja Mayoral who gets on the back of Marc Bartra and then pushes Bartra onto the ball. And really that was my first reaction to it. And to be honest with you, the more I saw the replays, the more it validated that position, that it felt like it was Borja Mayoral's right arm getting onto the back of Marc Bartra, and then Marc Bartra having to be turned into the ball. You may argue, well, why is his arm there to begin with? Well, he's trying to shield the ball. And if you've watched soccer at any point in your life, you know that when you're shielding the ball, you put your arms out. He exposed himself a little bit in that awkward position. But still, I think him turning onto the ball with his arm comes from the push of Borja Mayoral.
Ali, it's almost exactly where we left off last season, you feel, with Real Madrid. Benzema, Ramos, not much else.
Yeah, it's funny, when I received your message during the game of Luka Jovic, that was simply titled Jovic, what I thought, he is not more than a warm body out there. But the importance of Luka Jovic, or whoever was playing alongside Karim Benzema today, was the fact that this is a reaction to what happened last week. That Zinedine Zidane noticed what we spoke of in the show following last weekend's match against Real Sociedad, in which whenever Benzema pulls himself out into wide areas or goes underneath, there's nobody really that occupies that space into the 18-yard box. So we saw today that Zinedine Zidane said, you know what, we're going to pair Benzema with somebody else. And the presence of Jovic just being there, again, a warm body, nothing more than that, it does occupy the other center back. And so the late run into the box of Federico Valverde, which we saw in the first goal, as Benzema pulled himself out wide, Valverde occupies the space in the near post, and then the center back has to make a decision. I have to stay with Jovic because he's here, and then I'm late to react to whatever the run of Valverde is. So that worked. What didn't work is that once you have the two strikers, you decide to go and play with four in the midfield, kind of a diamond formation. Offensively, it was fine. Defensively, all sorts of problems, because both Valverde and Toni Kroos got themselves pulled out into wider areas, and there was so much space on the inside shoulder of Valverde and on the inside shoulder of Toni Kroos that what you saw in Real Betis is just, they were just playing balls right through there. Martin Odegaard was never going to defend in those spaces, and Casemiro had too much time and too much space to cover. And so Betis was creating from there, finding spaces on the left-hand side, creating opportunities, could have scored a couple more goals, did not, because Thibaut Courtois came up with saves. And so, once again, Real Madrid, a little VAR help, a little Sergio Ramos, a little Benzema, and they get themselves a result.
And I feel that we're going to be having this conversation throughout this season. We're going to see these exact same games week in, week out with Real Madrid.
There is no real sign here that it's going to be any different, because today Zidane tried to go with something different, and it was a little bit of a struggle. It really was defensively how much space Betis had in transition, and whenever they had a sustained periods of possession, how difficult it was for Real Madrid to defend. The second goal by William Carvalho, he makes a run from deep. Odegaard is late. Casemiro is late. Valverde is nowhere to be found, and Kroos is not closing the space from the other side. So much space down that middle of the field. And okay, so that's a change that Zidane tried to enforce today and try to put out on the field, because he was reacting to the lack of creativity going forward and the lack of presence going forward. All right, I imagine that next week comes around and he's going to go back to the 4-3-3. And yet you're going to still find difficulties in creating opportunities going the other way. So Zidane has to make a decision. We created enough chances today against Betis, but we gave up a bunch of chances. Are we willing to play like that? Or are we going to be the team that, you know what, we may create 3 or 4 quality chances and that's it, but I'd rather have that and then be solid in the back. I think it's probably going to be the latter rather than the former. I don't know that Real Madrid can play with that diamond formation as they did today and expect to win a whole lot of games, because consistently, I don't think they can defend out of those positions.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.